Okay, everyone, I just got back from seeing It Chapter 2, and I gotta say, wow, what a rush. Okay, so It Chapter 2 is the sequel to the amazingly successful It's from 2017, based on the Stephen King novel. Well, rather, the first half of the Stephen King novel. It Chapter 2 is the second half of the Stephen King novel and takes place 27 years after the events of the original. And now we got like a whole new cast members playing the older versions of the kids, along with the younger kids in flashback scenes, visions, and etc., etc. Now, if you've been on the internet for the past, I'd say about week and a half, you would know that this is a very divisive movie. There are some people that love it, some people that hate it, and some people who are just in the middle and think it's a mixed bag. Now, I just got back from seeing It Chapter 2 like 10 minutes ago. So it's very fresh in my mind, and I have a lot to talk about. But this is going to be a spoiler-free review for those of you who haven't seen it. I just wanted to make that clear. Now, where do I start? Oh my god, this was a really amazing movie. Like, I mean it. I think this is actually better than the first one because my reaction to the first one was like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, the cast has good chemistry, some good scares, but overall it's just a pretty okay movie. And then you go and sing It Chapter 2 and you're like, oh my god, the casting is even better. The scares, I don't even know if I could call this a horror movie. It's more of a horror comedy, like Evil Dead 2. And even then, it's kind of more like Army of Darkness, if I'm being honest with myself. And that's not a bad thing against the movie. The movie is very funny. In fact, I'd say about 95 to 98% of the jokes actually made me laugh. And yes, you've heard it a million times. Bill Hader is excellent as Richie, and all the adult cast is pitch perfect. I mean, I swear to God, when you watch the kids and then you see the adult versions of them, you're like, oh my God, this is actually like time travel is real. It's like you took the kids from the future and now they're adults and now you brought them into like 2019 and put them in a movie. That's amazing. Like, massive props to the casting department because that rarely ever happens in a movie where you have to have a young version of the kid and then an old version of the person. So major props to that. I thought that was amazing. I heard the ending wasn't going to be too good, so when I walked into this, I was going to be like, oh god, this isn't going to be too good. And I was like, I don't really know what the critics are talking about. I really like the ending. I agree that some of the CGI is needs to be worked on, but I thought the message was nice. It had some good drama, heart, nice action, and nice sets as well. The CGI looked good when they digitally, like, de-aged the kids. Even, like, the voice modulator. Because, like, they're 2 years older, so they're obviously very different people. I mean, look at that. And honestly, there was only one time I really noticed it, and it was with Ben in, like, one particular scene in, like, a hideout. That was really the only scene I noticed some of the kids' CGI on the face didn't look too well. But after that, you kind of just get used to it, and you're like, okay, this is actually kind of nice. And yes, of course, the chemistry between all the characters is even better than the first one. All of them do a good job. I really talking about the acting a lot, but that's really one of the driving points of this movie. Of course, Bill Skarsgård is amazing as Pennywise. He's threatening, he's creepy, but he's also actually kind of funny. But of course, most of the jokes actually come from Bill Hader and the guy who plays adult version of Eddie, and both the actors who play the young versions of the kids. And to be honest, the movie is like 2 hours 49 minutes long with credits. It felt more like an hour 45, 2 hours. And that's just because, well, the way I see it is kind of just like, okay, it goes from one scene to the next scene to the next scene, but something's always happening. Something is making it tick in every scene. I heard some people talk about there were slower scenes, but the slower scenes are basically just character development scenes. And actually, those are some of my favorite scenes of the movie. Some of the scenes in the motel are actually really nice. The scene in the restaurant is nice. It has a good scare. And virtually all the flashback scenes are actually nice because it helps develop the kids, even though the kids in the first movie during the summer break don't really see each other, but they kind of retcon that in this movie and saying that they were seeing each other, well, some of them at least. But it doesn't really affect the movie. If there's one element that I have to talk about that is not really spoiler, Henry Bowers, yeah, he kind of survived the first one. I mean, you know he was going to survive. I mean, granted, he did just fall down a well, probably like 100 feet, and then get washed up with a bunch of bodies near the oil barons. But honestly, you look fine. You're just in a mental institution. That's nothing to worry about. And the ending, yeah, I hate to admit it, but I actually kind of shed a tear near the end. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I will say that this movie isn't as scary as the first one, but I don't even think it's trying to be. It's trying to be more of a comedy movie, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Some people have the mindset of, if it's not as scary as the first one, it's not as good, but that's not really how it works. It more works like, it may not be as scary as the first one, but I think it's trying to accomplish to be more funny than the first one. Because the first one, while it did have some pretty good jokes, aren't even as close to the comedy in this movie. Now, I'm not saying you have to like this movie. Again, some people like it, some people hate it, some people are in the middle. I'm personally on the side of loving it, with, yeah, the CGI in some areas that should have been cleaned up a little bit better. Henry Bowers could have just been cut from the movie altogether, except for one scene involving a library. I really like this movie a lot. Even some of the more subdued scenes where nothing's happening, I still care about the characters because of the actors who are portraying them. I think everyone probably should get, like, double the money after being in this movie. So would I watch this movie again? Absolutely. In fact, I wouldn't mind going to the theater and watching this at least like 3 to 4 times, even though that would probably take like 12 hours around. Also, It Chapter 2 was like one of the best movie theater experiences I've ever had. And to my memory, this is only one of 2 movies where once the movie is finished, the whole audience just got up and started clapping. The first time that happened was, well, Avengers Endgame, and this was the second time. And in fact, I was one of the people who was clapping because I really liked it. I love this movie so much, I would buy 4 copies of it on 4K. But I'm not that rich, so I can't afford it. I guess I'll just have to stick with the Blu-ray. So, if you want to see the conclusion to the It series, I recommend that you go check out It Chapter 2. And if you don't want to see it, then don't go see it. But if you are a fan of the first one, or even movies like Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness, or any horror comedy movies in general, I think you're actually really going to like this movie. I know I did. And if you are going to go into this movie, don't listen to critics on this movie. In fact, here's what I suggest that you do if you want to watch this movie. Don't look at anything online, just go watch it and then make up an opinion for yourself. I saw reviews of it and I thought, oh, this is going to be pretty bad. And then I watched it and I loved it. In fact, 9 out of 10 times I end up disagreeing with critics. I mean, guys, that was my review of It Chapter 2. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out, have a good day, and bye.